All right, let's see if I was right with that guess. I was right. I just didn't have the window as wide as it needed to be. Sweet. What's up, everybody? How are we doing today?
I feel a sneeze coming on, so I'm kind of suffering here for a moment.
That's cool. I'm excited that as I pressed record and went switch to this overlay, I looked over it and my office is now finally 61 Fahrenheit, which to convert that for people who still kneel before kings, that's 16. I'm like, ooh, it's finally up to 61. That's nice.
That's horrible. We're at like 72 always.
Ooh, that's warm.
Yeah, well, my apartment sits at like 72 or 74, I think.
Oh god, that's so warm.
I think they recently may have fixed the system. I don't really pay attention to the actual temperature. I just suffer in silence.
Huh. Well, you think 72 is too warm or too cold?
Oh, way too warm.
Yeah. Oh Jesus.
I-
What's Joey doing? Oh no.
What's happening?
Joey just said burn it all in all caps.
My savior's not here. I'm waiting for someone. He says he has something ready for me, as needed.
Who's your savior?
I'm gonna keep it on the DL till he comes.
Oh no. I'm genuinely a little concerned. So while I read whatever's coming in, while I finish my reading.
Oh. I know.
I'm gonna ask. Hype Train's coming too. Oh, hello, Hype Train. That's probably immediately gonna jump to like a level 3 or 2 or I don't even know how it goes. I honestly don't even know how.
Oh, Cryptic got a gift sub from Green.
Oh, Todd.
Once more.
Yeah, Todd.
Oh yeah, look at that. It's already 40% into level 4. Jesus. Cool. Thank you, everybody. Back to you guys. Nick, how was your Easter? Did you enjoy your zombie day?
Actually, we just had a good weekend. We volunteered at the Y to go clean out the camp area that they do for the summers. Or, they do the summer camp. So I basically got to do yard work all weekend, which was a nice change of pace.
That's over by like the NRG place, right? Like over by like that shopping plaza over there.
No, that's like in between the two towns, right after the middle school.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Near the coffee.
Yes.
Yes. Speaking of coffee. Though I do have to admit, this is coffee left over from yesterday evening that I microwaved right before coming downstairs, and it was not even a half a mug. My only other coffee this morning, thank you again, everybody. My only other coffee this morning was from Dunkin' Donuts.
Ew.
Listen, they're midnight. If you drink their midnight black, it's okay. It's like, it's tolerable, but it's not good.
My mom, her favorite coffee is Dunkin' Donuts. She used to get large coffees every day, but now she buys just like the bulk package where you could buy like 3 things of their beans and then grinds them at home.
So, I mean this with all the love and respect in the world, but some people are just uncultured swine. Speaking of, how was your Easter?
Well, considering I'm Jewish, I don't celebrate Easter. just little things, right?
Honestly, it's so. No, I'm not Christian, but obviously being raised Christian, and most of my family is, I celebrate those holidays. But I can imagine for somebody who doesn't celebrate the holidays, just like the inconvenience of having places closed that you want to like do stuff at. It's like.
So to be fair, I did actually grow up celebrating the holidays in the American way because my mom is Catholic.
Okay, fair enough.
So I actually do celebrate Easter. I obviously didn't do anything because I live
miles away from your parents.
Yeah, I live like a 2.5 hour drive from where my parents live.
I mean, so. you didn't want to drive all the way home so mommy and daddy can give you an egg hunt?
No, no, not really. It's not my top priorities. No. I did stream yesterday though, so it was fun.
Oh, that's cool. Actually, I did see that. Actually, we were literally talking about you yesterday, and Brittany was like, "Which one's Cell again?" And I was like, "Cell," and she's like, "Which one?" And I was like, "He's actually streaming right now. Let me click." Oh no, he already ended. Never mind. We can't creep on him.
Oh yeah, I went to bed early because I was tired.
I was kept up a little too late, huh, sir? Certain somebody who is keeping me up. Certain degrees of late. I didn't hang up with Jake off of a call until I think 2:10 in the morning, something like that, while waiting for while building his character for the upcoming campaign. But anyways, I'd ask him how his Easter was, but that was 2 days ago, so he's probably already forgotten.
Anno did make me wake up early. We played Star Wars, and Joey got my character killed. So, #blame Joey.
I mean, red shirt. Oh, it was funny actually. When I said, "Oh, Cell," Brittany goes, "Which one's Cell? Is that red shirt?" And I was like, "No, sweetheart, that's Joey." She goes, "Oh yeah, that's Joey." I was like,
But yeah, Green. We did Passover. I did Passover. It ended Sunday evening, so I got to enjoy the sweet taste of bread.
I mean, yesterday my mother-in-law made doughboys, and today Brittany made me homemade pizza. So,
Bread. I made some. I steamed some Chinese pork buns. Just. If you've never had a steamed bun, you literally just need to go buy some right now and steam some buns.
I'm curious if you ever come to New England, Joey. Wow, I am so sorry.
Wow, you know what?
It clicked in my head because of the previous conversation. So,
Joey, you deserve that.
So, sorry. So if you ever come to New England, I want you to order Chinese food from just like some random place, not like some hole in the wall, but just like some random place. You know what I mean?
Like a China one.
Yeah, I'm just curious what your opinion of Chinese food in New England is, because from what I understand, it's people that come from outside of New England. Their opinion of Chinese food is that like our Chinese food up here is trash. Now there are a few places, obviously Nick, you know where we like to go, that are just quality, but then there's
I mean, that would be surprising because, like, I would imagine they would have good Chinese food because, at least from my perspective, the Jewish tradition of on Sundays going to Chinese places because they wouldn't be closed due to Christian mass. So,
I mean,
in the Northeast, that is just a common thing.
That is a super common thing up here. But again, it's just something I've heard fairly consistently from people that aren't from around here. So, but again, I don't like most of those places anyways. So maybe they're just trash.
Yeah. If you're going to a Chinese food and it's called like best taste and you're expecting it to be the best taste, then you're a fucking idiot.
I don't know what you're saying, dude. Like, if you go, at least in the South where I live, like, every other town, there'd be like a Chinese place and it's some variation of China and one. Either it's China #1, China Uno, just China
Uno, like
just China Uno.
Wow,
No, just Chinese food. It just, they all vary themselves off of being like the #1 Chinese place with the China in one. So just like a group around. It was just so weird.
Restaurants used to do that when phone books were really a thing, because when you go into the phone book to look things up, it was numerical and then alphabetical. So if you were like 1 Chinese or A1 pizza or things like that, you'd be the first one in the phone book. It was a shitty little marketing technique.
I actually didn't know that, and you would know because you used to work for a place called A1 Pizza.
Correct.
So that's funny. I did not know that.
Huh. Well, that explains it. It doesn't change the fact that I remember distinctly throughout my entire childhood, there was the one place right near my home called China Uno. That place smacked. And then there was a place farther away called China One that my dad would get on his way back from work, which was way worse. Based upon egg rolls alone. The egg rolls at the other place were bad. The cabbage was disgusting.
I won't lie. There's one place where Nick and I both go where we like to order most of our Chinese food, but then there's a separate place where I actually prefer their rice better. So I'm like, I want to order the food from here, we get the rice there. And for a while, before we had Rory and when she was very young, I would totally do that double drive because one of the places doesn't deliver and I'm not paying for DoorDash. So I would go pick up from both places and come back. But nowadays we just have resigned ourselves to just going to the one good place and suffering through their good rice instead of great rice. So, oh well. Anyways, so I love lamb, but getting good lamb is difficult. Like there's like Indian cuisine around here, and by Indian, of course, I mean India, not Native American. The cuisine around here, it's like most of the places are just very Americanized. It's like it's not as good as some places where you can go and you're like, oh my god, this is fucking American.
It might be your area, dude. I don't know. Like,
Yeah,
the region I lived in has a super high like Asian, South and Southeastern Asian immigration rate, where there's just tons of Indian
Boston
people.
is loads of Indian people and loads of all over Asia, I should just say,
Yeah.
loads. But
It's insane.
but you're not selling your food to them. You're selling your food to the people that live here. And you're like, it was like Nick and I know somebody that bought a Chinese food restaurant and turned it into a Thai restaurant. And there was actually a lot of complaints when they started serving authentic Thai, because people were like, I want my pork fried rice and my
Thai food is so good.
Yeah, no, mind you, the owner is from Thailand, and his chef is from Thailand, worked at like a 5-star place, got sponsored to move here by this 5-star place, and eventually left that to open this restaurant. It's authentic, high quality, absolutely delicious Thai food, and people in their sales dropped. And so they actually had to choose to start selling the garbage food as well to keep the place open so they could sell the good food while they transition the taste of the neighborhood.
That's what all the Thai places I've been to have, right? They have like they always have the Thai menu, and then they also have a Chinese menu.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is not even Chinese food; it's American food.
Yeah, like sweet and sour chicken, right? It's literally just fried chicken with sweet and sour sauce. I make that by myself in my kitchen, right?
So on my pre-COVID work from home days, I would sit at the bar there every once in a while, and the amount of shit that I would see come in and that people would order, it was just amazing. And every time they come in, they'd be like, "Where's my egg rolls?" And I would just watch them go, "I don't serve egg rolls. This is Thai food." "Yeah, but I want my egg rolls."
It's so funny too, and just like, oh god, knowing them too. Like, he would be like super, super nice about it and just confused. Whereas she would be like, "There's no egg rolls here."
Yes.
If only her mom was there.
and then the friend would just be like, "I don't speak English." It was so good. Yeah. Oh man.
My favorite was when, because the parents own the coffee shop, was when somebody spilt they got served their large iced coffee, and they made an accident and they spilt their coffee like all over themselves and all over the floor and made a big mess. So they came up to the counter to be like, "Hey, do you mind topping this off for me? I made a mess." And she handed them a mop. And I was just like, "This is the best. This is why I come here. Like, this is like fuck you. You made a mess in my restaurant. Here's the mop, clean up, and then we'll talk about filling your cup back up." Like,
mad respect, dude. I mean, I wouldn't be mad. I would clean up with the mop. No joke. Yep. It's not that hard, to be fair. But,
yeah. But anyways, we should probably get to actually playing the game.
Nah. Games are for cool people.
I mean, Jake seems thoroughly interested in our conversation. So.
Just fixing my sheet.
Fixing your sheet? What, you by that you mean you're cheating? You're making alterations to your favor?
He's changing his
already
luck.
rolled 20 for
better rolls on average.
Those 20s.
Okay.
Well,
I'll allow
20s,
one of you
ones.
boys
You know
to
how
do.
it is.
I'll allow you boys to do the recap while I read all those notes that were tossed to me while we're doing our chatty chats.
I only saw 2 fortune favor, which is making me excited, but I don't know if anything else bad got dropped in the intermittent time.
Why don't you boys do a recap?
I am the recapper, and it's always fantastic. No one complains. Listen, I'll time out anyone who complains in chat.
Oh, wow. Give the boy a little bit of power.
Last session. We got out of the spooky, creepy killing forest. Before that, we went to the big, giant, tree that housed halflings and other creatures. Sorry, I just take a personal insult. Tess just complained. Sad face. So we went to the tree. We tried to scout it out. We got attacked by we got attacked by 2 cats. I think they're displacer beasts or something. No, I forget what they're called, but they're 2 cats with tentacles and that could blink. It was scary. And then we went through the long grass to the big tree. Then we saw a giant rock, and it kind of came out of the trees, and we just yeeted the fuck out of there. The halflings chased us, or the halfway we got to the front of the forest, and we made defensive lines. We talked to them for a bit. We kind of really didn't communicate well at all. They think we are from the Barren or something, and it was hard. And they didn't kill us, and they'll probably attack us anytime we go there again. But for now, they aren't doing any of that. So I don't think anything else happened while we were in the forest, right? There's the bees and honey, that were the bees and the flowers that we avoided.
The fields of flowers, yeah.
We avoided that successfully, and then we met some of Nick's people, and we got out. And Nick's people had a meeting, and me and Varric steed the fuck out of there before the meeting because we were trying to go home. Fast as fuck, boy.
Fast as fuck, boy. Okay.
And that's my summary.
It was beautiful. We all appreciated that. Thank you. Round of applause. Thank you. All right. So, yeah. So you guys got out of there. We ended the session with Nick having the opportunity to get back to the Kushibashi clan and hearing a little bit of what had been happening while he was gone. He wasn't, of course, fully filled in because we weren't doing kingdom rules yet, but he got to have like a meeting with several of his advisors, and we actually got to, or I should pull those up, walk through kind of like where his advisor sheets are currently sitting. One moment, closing all this shit out. Where his advisor sheets are currently sitting. Oop, shit. Clicked random thing. Go away, you. Open you. So, where's it? His advisor, his kingdom sheet is currently sitting, and that's important because in this situation, he's actually able to kind of like see all the new advisors that were added to the sheet since we started the campaign. Because I've been week by week, kind of like adding a few of them to you guys. I'm going to do that for the next person in a moment. So, Nick, was there anything else that you wanted to finish up with over in your kingdom side before we have these boys start traveling home and bring the attention over to Varric's?
I don't think so. I think I'm actually good. I just got to plan out how I'm doing my kingdom rolls next.
Okay.
So kick it over.
Yep. Awesome. Excuse me. I'm actually just going to pull up this sheet really quickly for you, Jake. Over here. We're going to just pull the map over. Cool. So over on this overlay here, we actually can see Varric's actual kingdom sheet and how it's definitely changed since last time we looked at it, right? The only one that isn't done for you, Varric's, is if you actually look at your lost speaker, says currently says NPC XYZ. So it actually does not have that last one built in. You're supposed to have a level 2 character put into place there for you. But since I had nothing dedicated towards that most recent hype train that's there, I can allow a vote to see if people just want to upgrade your level 2 character to a level 3, or if they want to use that over on the COD Gwen or whatever it might be instead. I'll do that vote afterwards. But so looking at your kingdom and the new people that have been added to it, catch you up to par. You obviously know who yourself is, Varric's. You know who Mara is as well, correct? I'm not sure how much you
Yeah.
did you watch all the VODs of your characters being created?
I think so.
Okay, so you probably have a pretty good, strong understanding. But just to display for those that missed the VODs or for the other two PCs, excuse me. Mara is, excuse me, I'm sorry, I have like a, let me just drink some water.
There are VODs for the character creation?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm terrible.
You don't have to worry about it.
You don't have to watch it.
I wasn't going to.
No.
I know.
I do it when I drop Rory off for school on Thursdays, and I come back home and have like an hour and change to record, and then so I go live, do that, and then go pick her up. So Mara is your Oraculi. Oraculi in your clan, in your culture, is the name of the person who's actually supposed to be some sort of like divine leader, almost like an advisor and a spiritual guide to specifically the Ashen Orc. The Oraculi kind of keeps a track of like the culture of your people, but more specifically the significance of the Ashen Orc, kind of guiding you towards whatever your important place in this world is going to be. Obviously, you don't know what it is yet. Nobody does until it comes to pass, and then usually shortly afterwards you die, right? So this is kind of the person that's kind of keeping you guided, training you, so on and so forth. The first Oracle you ever saw was obviously in your Session 0 backstory, and that went well. Excuse me. So then the next person, we obviously know who Urzog is. That's your general. We spoke of him beforehand. Cursus is a newly added one. Oh, sorry. Is you back over with Mara? She is a very well-knowledged historian and knows the religion and everything of your faith pretty darn well. That's the significance of her. She only speaks Karuk because she's not exactly the brightest. But, she's tough and convincing. All right, so the next one we're going to mention is Cursus. Cursus, the Man-Eater, is your the voice of Eric. So your Grand Diplomat. So your Grand Diplomat is known as Cursus, the Man-Eater. This is another Kuru, which is like a human that can actually comfortably consume the flesh of other people. And not only survive off of it, thrive off of it, right? So a very tough person, a convincing person with decent charisma, but not exactly the brightest bulb in the box. Cursus is kind of person that goes and does diplomacy for you, with actually a legitimate 12 in diplomacy, but also a 9 in intimidation. Like they're definitely have intimidation in mind. They happen to be a scarred rager barbarian as well. So this is somebody who, when politicking ain't going right, they have no problem taking a healthy bite. So they're definitely a clandestine kind of diplomat for you. After that is Roderick. Roderick is your curator. I think Roderick is a human. It is. It's actually a legitimate human. With pretty average stats across the board, 3 11s followed by 3 14s. This person actually has insanely high knowledge skills. Like we're talking through the roof. 11 is the lowest of anything worth noting, all the way up towards 17. This person has a strong comprehensive education from their background of coming from the Dalelands. They actually have, with Noble Scion as their background, they actually have a significant training to them when they were younger, where they grew up and why it is that they came here. They're just very interested in what happens in this area and kind of like learning about it as it goes. So Roderick is definitely your major historian or curator for your culture. We already know about Aurorum. Gartesh, I have to remember who that is. Gartesh is your magister. Who is this? It's the 5/5 trained person. Old ways. Gartesh is your magister. They're an adept, so they can actually use some magic too. They have a strong affinity towards necromancy. A very strong affinity towards necromancy. So necromancy doesn't necessarily mean you summon undead things and you conjure the dead and stuff like that. It also means you can control the dead when you encounter them. So let's just kind of assume that's where they're from. They're actually from the Barren lands themselves. So they actually have trainings. They're literally, this is for under deity, we have the old ways. Scorpion for familiar, so on and so forth. This is definitely somebody that's going to get along very well with Varix. Seeing eye to eye with them across. We're talking about an adept here with a 16 con and a 14 strength. Like, if that doesn't define it well enough. After that, we already know who Doxul is. We discussed that person several times beforehand. They are a Kuru as well, and your Marshal. After that is, you obviously know who Mortifer is, you know who Irithel is, you know who Suresh is, and lastly of Lyra. I don't know if you know who Lyra is.
I do. We've had
discussions about Lyra, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, she's she's the one that treated Shado's brother.
Correct.
And who's gonna have the alchemist once it's done.
Correct. All of that stuff. Yep. Perfect. Awesome. So that kind of like shores up who all of the new people to your clan are. So with you returning home and kind of like catching up on all the things that were looked at beforehand, we can actually bring us for a moment over to the map that the actual campaign takes place in. So let me bring both you guys over there. Come over here. So this is kind of focusing to your kingdom down here. Now, as you know, as you're returning home, and of course, I imagine, it says, I just realized this is, where the hell did RC come from? That wasn't there earlier when I set up the overlay. That's really weird. RC somehow popped up.
Oh, because you overlaid our layers to make Nick Arena.
Yeah, but when I checked this earlier, because I checked before we went live to make sure that I had the correct overlays on, and I had your maps up over on the other overlay, I had Warmonger up. That was weird. Huh. Oh well. Anyways, back to the game. So you I imagine Shadow Tessel is not sticking around in Clan Densho for any amount of time, immediately continuing on back to your own home.
Yep. He's straight marching.
Cool. So back to Clan Densho. You of course know that you have dangers on your southern border. They've taken rest up on the hill. You can see that there. As I did with Nick beforehand, you're welcome to call a council to kind of get a shore up and maybe have a conversation with a couple of your advisors. Is there any particular ones that you wanted to talk to, or any particular subject you wanted to go over?
Let me bring up the list here. Yeah, I'll call a council when I get back. Herzog, Irithel, Sarash, Aurorum, and probably Warden. Is that the one that does your city, or which one's the one that goes around the borders?
Around the borders is usually a marshal. That's the
Marshal, all right. And then Doxel as well.
Okay. So I just want to be clear. We have Doxel, Aurorum, Sarash, Irithel, and was there one more? Oh, Urzel. Or Urzog.
Herzog.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I have all 5 of them prepared. Go ahead.
Once I call them all together, the first thing I'm going to say is, has there been any movement in my absence? What do we know about the Kurok to the south?
Doxul will actually be the one to chime in first and say, yes, I have been able to discover something about them. They are remnants of a clan, a tribe. Sorry, I would definitely say tribe. They're actually from the Barren lands as well, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Yes, I was able to discover something about them. They're the remnants of a tribe down there. Not just any tribe either. They say, looking over at Urzug. They actually are remnants of people that look to claim what is theirs. And Urzug, looking back at them, is like, wait, huh?
Looking to claim what is theirs.
Chiming back in, Doxel says, it seems as though these are the remnants of the Spearhead tribe. They are here to enact vengeance on the one who would let their clan fall.
I obviously would know his previous tribe, right?
Of course.
Okay. I turn to Herzog and say, you let them fall? What is the meaning? What are you talking about?
Herzog shakes his head and says, I no fight. They call for a fight against me brother, but didn't. I chose to let them solve their problem.
Was that when you were at your post here, or before?
Before I left, they came, they challenged, they killed and harmed. But me brother, a fool, deserve not to lead. So, me could have fight, we could have killed them, but I didn't. Walked away. Would I go back that day? I would do again. My brother be damned.
Your brother's dead then?
He says, shrugging his shoulders.
Well, Herzog, Maybe it's time we went south and clean up this problem.
Doxul chimes in and says, from what I understand, the brother is dead, but the remnants of the clan are coming to take what's theirs. They shake their head and say, the remnants of the tribe, if I know tribes, and I do, they've either come to beg for leadership or to enact vengeance, as I said, to kill him for his transgression against them. But there are rumors. Do you know what killed the Spearhead tribe? They ask Urzug. Urzug shrugs, and Irithyll actually chimes in and says, I've told you once before. You already know what did it. And looks over to Varix. Warlord. Urzug's tribe was the one that was torn apart by the Shades. Urzug scratches his head and is like, oh yeah.
Is this the... This has something to do with the... Irithyll, was it someone was directing them, or did they just appear?
Irithyll gives you a look. Sense motive. Yeah, you easily are able to discern that Irithyll's suggesting, like, to want to have this open conversation here and now. These are one of my, these are one of my flies out and about in the Barren lands. Not necessarily something you want to oust. God forbid there's any, yeah.
Catching on, I say, oh, it doesn't matter. Killed by Shades. It's not a good way to go.
Doxul chiming back in says, I don't think you understand, Ashen. They claim they have them with them. That they bring them with them.
Well, first thing we need to do is verify. If they do, they cannot be allowed to reach you. We must march south.
Doxul nods and says, I can investigate further. If you like.
You must. And quickly.
Irithyll says, not me.
Doxul has taken this as her responsibility. Let her step up.
So, Irithyll nods and says, more attention to the north then. Then Doxul nods and kind of like looking out the room to see if there's any more attention that they need to bring to the conversation. And kind of like, I think I'm good. They're going to get up and start heading out, figuring that information sooner is better than information later. So they just kind of head out of the room. We're going to then go over to Irithyll, who will chime in again and say, as for matters to the north, I was able to discern a few things from the reports that you brought home from your allies. The clan that is clashed with Kushibashi. That happens to be Auroram's home. Irithyll says, looking over towards Auroram. Auroram nods.
I see. Oh, I'm familiar with that clan. Interesting. They have no love for us. If Kushibashi tries to or wants to act, they will have they'll have us even stronger than before.
So, Aurorum, Aurorum chimes in. I'm not on the right overlay here. Give me one moment so I can actually see things. No, load. There we go. Aurorum chimes in and says, "I don't think you understand the clan that Kushibashi is chiming in with. Is beginning to clash with. They control much of the rivers. The Kushibashi clan is looking to take some of the river themselves. Actually, I think they have taken a great degree of it themselves, but they are but a stone's throw away from clashing full on with my former home."
Varix probably slams his fist down onto like the table. He says there are too many rules in Kijinksi. Can't move against any of the other clans.
Sirash
I'm
actually
still
chimes in as you're saying.
getting
That's
used to it.
kind of like interrupting it. She said too many rules and you can't really move around. She'll actually chime in and say, "Would you rather it be more like when we were back in the Barren lands?"
It was simpler.
Simpler. And they say that. It's like a flat response, but more for you to be contemplative over what you're saying.
Yeah. Has there been any word from the ruling clans to the north? I would like to know what is to become of the... I don't remember whatever their name is, clan.
Nope, you're fine. I got it for you right here. Zinquin.
Zinquin clan. They did break the rules of Kijinksi, and yet we haven't heard anything yet about what is to be done. This is the first time I've seen a clan openly break these rules in the time that we've been here. So myself and no doubt many of the other warlords are wondering just how hard their punishment will be.
Chiming in, Erithel says, the Zinquin clan controls the river to the east in Kijinksi. This is known. While much of Akrum's home controls the rivers to the west, Zinquin controls them to the east. That means that much of the northern clans rely on them. They need them to transport their goods. It is possible there is a considerable amount of leniency, not necessarily in the ruling, but in the amount of time it takes to get a ruling.
The northern clans could just stamp out the clan and appoint another leader there, one that's more amenable to them anyway. But I see the point you're making. Well, with any luck, hopefully we'll hear something soon. I hope Kishiboshi Naran doesn't move too quickly against Okrum's old clan then. If what you say is true, then they hold much favor with the North.
Urzug actually kind of grumbles and says, "That warlord moves too slow."
Maybe. But we're in a different place, Urzug. We, by living here, have had to change a lot. I'm not happy about all the changes, but while we live within their bounds, we must abide by their law, or until we're strong enough not to.
The forest should have been burned down by now.
Well, burning the forests... Shadow Tessel seen to a lot of that, so... Maybe they've already got more of a start than you think.
Sense motive check. Are you happy with your 11, sir?
I guess, yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
I will... For the rest of them, they're just automatically going to succeed because they're too good. For this one, I'll roll. Yeah. You get nothing off of them.
Yeah.
Okay. So you are able to so that kind of like concludes what it was that they were talking about there, why it is things are moving so slowly, the significance of the clan over by Kushibashi Narin. Surash, I don't think had anything specific that they were working on either. Oh yeah, actually, Surash did say, or did want to say, what's your name? Warlord. I did want to suggest something, or something to keep in mind as you're heading south. We need to march on them and kill them where they stand. Nobody here disputes this. They all are nodding or stoically agreeing. But while down there, perhaps trade. They need trade to survive. They need it. And we need trade to survive. But more importantly, if we trade, we are more welcome. And if we are more welcome, we can move in closer for ease of trade. Need I remind you of how close that lake is to the south?
Don't, Surash. But your suggestion is a welcome one. Look into establishing something. Report back to me when you have a plan.
Oh, I can't do anything. It's not safe enough right now. You'll have to show them your might. I have no concern about that. And then after you do so, any reports that Doxul or Erithel or otherwise are able to gather of tribes down there, then we can see if we can work with them.
I agree. That sounds good. It will be done.
Anything else that Varix would want to bring up with his council as he's able to kind of sit here and speak with them?
Yeah, Irithel. You've never stepped foot into the Barren lands before. You will accompany the army with myself. It's time for you to see the other side.
Raises an eyebrow at that.
Yeah, that's all I say. It wasn't a question.
Mm-hmm. Thinks for a few moments and says, "Who will handle the informants while I'm gone?"
Is there anyone that can kind of step up?
I mean, realistically, a warden can step up, and Mortifer can step up. So your royal enforcer and your warden could step up, which is either Lyra or Mortifer.
Yeah, we'll go with.
Can
Lyra,
Gartesh?
probably.
We just described Gartesh. Is Gartesh someone that can step up? I don't know.
We'll probably go with Lyra.
Cursus, your grand diplomat in theory could step up as well. I just don't know if that's the same way that you would.
I'm not talking about changing positions. Obviously, I'm not actually changing positions.
Of course, you
just
mean. Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah. We'll leave it in Lyra's capable hands.
Mm-hmm. And Erithel just nods and doesn't dispute after chiming in with the one concern. All right, cool. I think that finishes up what your clan needs to deal with at that point in time.
Yep.
So, Shadow Tussle.
Sorry, getting water. Stay hydrated, boys and girls.
And yeah, you know, everybody stay hydrated.
If you're a human, you gotta stay hydrated.
Whoa. If you're a dog, you stay hydrated too.
Okay, listen. If you're alive, stay hydrated. How about that? Does that work?
Unless you're a cat. Cats can die.
Whoa. That's not okay.
I actually support that notion.
Thank you.
I'm gonna throw that out there.
I'm actually gonna run for president on the platform of killing all cats.
In fact, if you go to Best Taste, I hear they can help you out.
Oh, Jesus.
God, that's so bad.
It was an easy circle back. All right, I'll take the low hanging fruit.
It was really low.
Extremely low hanging fruit. Oh, Sel, look, your mom came into chat.
That's not my mom.
Hi, Sel's mom. Just kidding. So anyways, so Shadow Cecil, you finally are able to return home. I actually don't think you brought any of your advisors with you, correct? This is like a joint.
This is
the three of you, yeah.
Yeah, this is a warlord only gathering.
Okay, so you go over and join, go back home, and same as I asked everybody else, do you want to call specific members
Immediately? Everyone.
Oh, Jesus.
If they're inside the city or within reach of easy contact, they all need to be there. Okay.
Oh God, you're really trying to make my life difficult.
I'm sorry, dude. Listen, you gave Tessel visions, dude. He's not taking this lightly. He needs a unified effort from everyone.
You're gonna have to give me a minute to
yeah, I'm sorry.
To load all the character sheets because it's literally like 11 people.
Listen.
And Roll20 is slow as fuck.
Tessel isn't taking this lightly. He's scared, boy. He's scared.
Oh boy. Hold on. I'm gonna re-describe who all these characters are for you. If I didn't do that for you yet. One at a time. I'm down to Lenny now. Okay. And then Tick Tongue. Come on. And 3 more. Atelia Todd. Atelia Todd's a really cool character. Jorman. All right. And
just remember, Scott, you're the one that gave me the vision of bad things, okay?
I never give you visions of bad things. Okay, grab that link, come over here, and paste. Okay. All right, so going down the list first of who your different advisors are before we actually go into your actual meeting. So Gorza, we already know who Gorza is. That's your Eldritch Guardian. She is the half-orc. That is half-orc counselor that is very obsessed with like things that have to do with like magical artifacts, so on and so forth. Shiro Naito is the one that we've seen the most of so far. That's your literal brother, who happens to be the general of your army. After that, you have Aliyah Diram. We got to see a good amount of her so far. She's a very successful diplomat with a plus. I think she's a plus 20 normally. For some reason, she has a -2 at the moment, but a plus 20 normally for her. Oh, I know why she has that. Let me remove that. A plus 20 for her diplomacy. It's an insanely good diplomat. Then you have Ishai. That is a new person. Ishai is your curator, which means they have a big number in knowledge history. Just trying to remember details about this person. They're from Kajinxi, but they are Perrin. They're Perrin, but raised in Kajinxi. They're well studied when it comes to archaeology, underground, so on and so forth. Kind of like studying the history of the clans, keeping it well known, but specifically of your clan when it comes to what's it called, mining tradition, the significance of these mines, etc., etc. I think she even has a degree of engineering as well. She, right? Oh, nope, they. Ishai is a they. So then there's Rima. Rima is orc, female. Rima is your high priest. You've already met her a few times. Then there's Lenny. Lenny is your male gnome character. We know Lenny. I mean, the name Lenny says it all. I don't think I need to say anything else. Then there's Tiktung. Tiktung is your marshal. This is your person that kind of keeps track of the surrounding area. If I remember correctly, Tiktung is, yes, an incredibly good miner. Like lots of experience down in the mines, has the ability to like sniff out good ore, can really identify quality of veins, so on and so forth pretty quickly. Then we have Atelia. Atelia is your spy master. It says femship. That's funny. She is what is it? So she's very good at gathering the bits of information. Also, of course, skilled at being in the mines, so on and so forth. An important thing to note about this person is while they are good at both, royal enforcer and being a spy master, it's not because this person's particularly subtle, right? Like they're not a subtle person. They're very hands-on aggressive, very hands-on aggressive. It's just that they're secret police-esque. That's your Gestapo. All right, moving on. After that is going to be what's up, Kira? Oh, sorry, Kiri. Let's see, Jorman. We already know Jorman very well. That's your incredibly good smith. And then lastly, you have Tark. Tark is a new one. Tark, Hobgoblin. I think this is your warden. It is your warden. Tark is an incredibly good engineer. Actually, very well trained in engineering, and actually even has a little bit of training in crafting siege weapons too. So, and of course, as a miner. That's a Hobgoblin too. Cool, awesome. That is all the new characters to your thing, and all the old characters. Now we know who they are. You call a meeting with, because you're a douchebag, all 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 of them. It would be 11, but luckily, Atelia is doubly valuable.
Of course. Listen, I'm not. No douchery, okay? This is an important situation.
Mm-hmm. So you call your meeting.
First, I know it's rare for me to call all of you in a room. My return trip was not as pleasant as I would have liked. I caused an accident in the fire. My lamp got caught on branches or the like, spilled oil. Fire was lit in the forest of Eldamar. It killed a great many of lives in the flames. A being from the forest cursed me in the flames. It brought the flames to life, and a creature that will hunt and seek revenge against me. I had visions of it destroying our minds, killing our people. We cannot let that happen. First, Lenny. You're from the Arcane Congress. What do you know of these fire creatures made of fire?
Oh, well, that's a good question. You see, they are not from here, so they could actually be banished away from here. With the right kind of powerful magics, and we probably have to seek permissions for it, but you can actually eject them entirely from our home. I don't mean like our home as in like just our home. I mean from the world. Send them back to the world that they came from. Assuming, again, that I'm right in them not being from this world. But, again, that's some powerful magics. We'd not just have to get the permissions, like I said, but we'd be calling in some favors and probably owing considerably more.
I don't believe I'll have enough time to get into contact with the Congress and have them send someone here and go through the bureaucracy of their cogs. Unless you have a easier line and quick access to it, I don't believe that's a path we can go forward with.
Still looking a bit weaker, but chiming in, Shadow Naito says, brother, could we not battle this thing, lure it into an appropriately arranged field and lay waste? It's a creature of fire. We deal much with fire. We're close to the mountains. Perhaps diverting some water and collecting it for the battle.
He nods. Yes, I do believe we will have to mobilize our most elite fighters for this situation. I would, Lenny, is there a way for me to speak to this creature? I believe it will have intelligence, and I wish to see if I can at least talk to get my mind off of what I have caused its own harm.
Gorza chimes in and says, "Comprehend language. Comprehend languages. There's a spell called Comprehend Languages. It's we would allow you to understand what the creature is saying. There's another spell called Lick, I believe, and it allows you to speak all sorts of languages. I think understand them as well." Lenny will actually kind of lean over and be like, "Tongues." Gorza, huh?
Nods.
Tongues, not lick. That. Tongues.
Can you cast comprehend languages or tongues?
To Lenny, you say it?
He says it to Lenny, but kind of also to the room. He doesn't know if anyone else has the abilities.
Lenny might be able to. Give me 1 second.
If you're looking if it's on the adapt spell list, it is. Adapt.
Yeah, I believe it is. I'm just making sure it is a first level spell, and it is. Lenny nods and says, "Of course. It's how you have to research. It's how I learned Karak."
And you can cast that on to myself.
Actually, I have to confirm that. It's been a hot minute.
I don't think you can.
Actually, I think it's for stealth only, but there are ways around that. It is personal. He actually chimes in and goes, "No." Well, yes and no. No, I can't, but I'm sure Jorman and I could work together and make it so that we could craft something that can do it for you. Jorman is sitting there looking. Well, it's a lizard folk. Sense motive.
Oh, I'm so bad at sense motive.
I don't know if you know this about reptiles, but they don't exactly have emotions.
No, they're not exactly
Emotive, I should say.
Yeah.
I'm sure they have emotions, but they're not exactly emotive. Unless they're like...
Unless they're about to, like, kill
tail,
you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you unfortunately aren't able to... It's just... Jorman just sits there quietly.
Okay, he nods. That's fine. Then you two will start trying to work on this item. And if we cannot get that in time, I will go to... Oh, God, I forgot. I forgot what I called her. Sertri. I forget what the title is. She's my, the leader of the order.
Oh, I have no idea.
I have no idea either. Blank Sertri. I believe she might be able to cast the same spell. Comprehend languages.
After you got finished playing that out, Rima finally chimes in and says, "Warlord, we don't necessarily need to do any of this without first preparing ourselves. Sure, there's spells to speak with creatures, but there's also less powerful spells," she says, kind of looking over at Lenny, who's suggesting like a 6th, 7th level spell, and looks back at you and says, "that can contain the creature." While
Go
I
on.
imagine speaking to a creature while it's forced into a prison of sorts might piss it off, it's safer for all of us to have the conversation then, rather than while it's rampaging through our area, if it's seeking vengeance.
It is seeking vengeance. It is not an if.
Then why don't we look to utilize weaker magics that can have the chance to contain the thing, even if only for a short period of time.
Magic goes past me in most ways. Then you also work with Lenny while we're working on the item and discuss the best spells that we can get quickly to utilize against this creature. In the meanwhile, we also need to organize communication lines between our minds, because in my visions, he was attacking our minds. We need to have fast communication with all the minds in the realm, in the clan.
As you finish that, and people are kind of like nodding and whatnot, and you actually see Atelia saying, "I'll make sure they talk." Is all she says. Finally, Tick-Tongue looks over at Jorman and says, and again, Tick-Tongue being the hobgoblin, looks over at Jorman and says, and of course, Kuruk says, "I thought you were going to say something." And Jorman responds saying, "Me wait."
He looks to Jorman. Jorman, always speak if you have something to say. We do not need to hold our tongues here.
Jorman nods and says, "Me think you wrong."
He nods. Go on.
You dream. Fire. Mines.
I dreamed of myself turning into or being the elemental itself with her evil smile, burning our people and destroying our minds, yes.
Maybe bad. Maybe not bad. Mines. Volcano. We search. Deep. We find.
He nods.
Tick-Tongue kind of looks at Jorman like, "Go on." And Jorman continues and says, "We find peoples like me, but not like me."
In the volcano.
Yes.
I would have. Was this recent, or have you kept this from me?
When you say kept this from me, sense motive.
I still have that -2, boys.
Yep. You get no response. He says,
I'm not mad if you did. I just wish to know.
he says, "Just learn."
He nods. That's fine. So, you believe that these creatures might be relevant?
I mean, I imagine again, lizard folk don't really shrug. Just says, "Maybe." You dream, fire, mine. I find fire in mine.
Maybe, but I know for a fact that this elemental exists. It is not just a figment of my imagination.
He just continues looking at you, kind of can take it in as like a understanding. You know what I mean? Like getting
Either way,
what you're saying. Yep.
We must still prepare quick relay between the mines in our city, so we can mobilize the men and move quickly to stop anything that's happening within them, in case. Better to be prepared than not. We cannot sacrifice the lives of our people because of not wanting to spend money or the like. We should also send a expeditionary force into the volcano. If you believe it to be safe, maybe we can parlay with them, with the people in the mines.
It's actually at this point that Lenny would chime in and say, "I'm sorry, but if you're saying people like you but not like you, I believe what you're trying to suggest here is salamander." And then Lenny looks at you and says, "And you really do have to brush up on your draconic, warlord. It would make conversation with Jorman significantly easier if you could actually understand one another."
Sadly, draconic wasn't in the old books my family had.
It's still easier for you to learn how to than it is for him to learn how to.
He nods. When I get some time between crisis after crisis, I will start to learn draconic.
He nods, but going back to the point, says, "Warlord, I don't think you understand what a salamander is. Salamanders are, as far as I understand them, born of fire, and so like to burn."
They're born of fire, so they like to burn. It is not impossible, I agree, that these creatures born from the fire I caused are what is seeking revenge. And especially if it's recent. Do you know how to speak to these salamanders, Lenny?
He shrugs and says, "Same magic to do that as the others, but no. Salamanders themselves, they're a race of people that are born of fire. They are, shall we say, warlike." Then kind of like looks around the room and says, "More warlike."
He nods. So, it would fit, but do we believe there's no way for us to talk? I don't wish to exterminate a people.
Lenny opens his mouth to speak again, but Jorman kind of cuts in quick for Jorman to interrupt and says, "No. They craft well. They might fight. They might not. We talk."
As you know, that is my way. I like to speak. I do not wish to draw weapons on those who could be reasoned with.
And then from your brother says, "And I also would rather not fight with enemies that could be allies, but," and he says, looking at you, "these creatures sound like creatures that are not from around here." Lenny does nod and say, "Nope, not from around here either."
We should speak to them. Which of you know, would they speak Draconic, or would it be a different language where it doesn't matter if I bring Jorman?
1 second to answer that question. It would actually be, I think, Lenny that has to answer this. Yep, that would be Lenny. Hold on. Oh, now I see the result. Wow, that's pretty bad. Could anybody else answer that? I don't think
Isha?
anybody else has ranks in that, so has the ability to even roll that. Yep. So again, Lenny's just kind of like, they might know it because they're from around here.
Do we think they might see a kinship with Jorman?
Jorman, again, no emotional response, says, "Question. The volcano here because of salamander, or salamander here because of volcano?"
Tesla just shrugs. He has no idea.
"It might matter. My people, we go where there are marshes, swamps, hot forests with much rain. But my people also plant and nurture so that my people can have more swamp. We cut water into more water for more home. If they, like me, they there because it's there, or it's there because they there. Those two different people."
He nods. I see. That changes the context of our meeting a lot. But I don't believe there's a way for us to find this out. It might be possible if we speak to small villages in the area, if the volcano has always been there, or if it's stories of it moving or coming about into being, because that might answer your question.
Aaliyah chimes in and says, Well, I can always head back to the southeast and see if there's another conversation or two that would lead to fruits. Very sarcastic.
That matter slipped my mind entirely. Yes, I do believe it'd be appropriate to gather information in the clan Silver.
Leaning forward, head in her hand, elbows on the table, she actually says, Warlord, you do realize that was sarcasm, right?
I understand that you are being sarcastic, but it is a matter of importance.
What is it? I think maybe it is. Let me just check. Shy chimes in and says, "Ooh, an opportunity to learn more about a different clan. I think I would much like to go and investigate this matter. I could certainly learn more about their culture, their warlord, perhaps ask a couple of questions while I'm there."
Is what species or race is a Shy? That matter. Their parent.
Yep.
As much as I would love for you to go, Shy. They don't take a liking to Perrin, and I don't believe they would care for the distinction between those of Perrindel and those of Kajinxi.
I think it's let me just pull this up real quick.
Aaliyah went last time.
Yep, correct. Tick-Tongue chimes in and says, I can go. I can go because I can speak their language of mining, and I know the mountains well enough that if things don't go well, I can get out of there.
It is
know
tough.
that Tick-Tongue is with a -1 is no diplomat.
No. As much as it would be easy to send you TikTok, I think I require you for our trip to the salamanders.
Tick-Tongue looks very much relieved at the idea of facing large, horrifying creatures that can melt your flesh by being close to them. Over going and having to deal with a bunch of Perrin haters.
Atelia.
Says, I was wondering if you'd ever ask.
Go spy on them, please. Gather what you can about their clan.
Does one of those like head snaps and says, yep. And then starts to stand up from the table, and you get the impression that Atelia may be thinking that they should go personally.
She does her business. However she wants to operate it, man. That's her job.
Perfect.
Before you leave, make sure you get all the work here done as needed.
Looks at you and says, you assume I'm behind?
I assume you're several months ahead at any one time.
Does one of these. And then we'll actually go and make her way out of the room. I think she's the only human in the room. I could be mistaken.
I think so, yeah. I got a pretty diverse crowd, though. And
yeah. So anyways, yep, you, yeah, continue.
Let's see, who's left? So we have...
So Rima definitely has to say something else as well. There's another matter if you're done talking about the forests that you've burned and the vengeance that you've earned.
You see that when she says that, Tessel visibly is like... he kind of like gets a little sad. He's like there's regret on his face immediately.
So there's a cultist running about, flapping their mouth.
He takes a deep breath. There's a cultist running about.
Lenny chimes in and says, I don't know if that's how I would have started with it. Aaliyah's like, really, Rima? That's what you're saying to somebody who's trying to ally with us? And Rima shrugs. I'm being honest. Even a Shy chimes in and says, I don't think that that's an accurate description. There's a priest of the of Roga, specifically somebody who is from the Broken Chain, right, Jake?
Yeah, Order of the Broken Chain.
Thank you. I don't need you, Jake.
That's the one.
I don't need you. Chimes in and says, There's a priest of the Order of the Broken Chain who's come by and offered to fund a, I think, monastery in our home.
I don't believe it'd be fruitful for us to have the Order of the Broken Chain investing in our lands.
Chiming in, Ashai says, I disagree.
It's due to our close proximity to Parendel. I don't want to owe the Order any favors or their influence going into the ears of our people for a desire to kill Parendel, as much as we like to grab the border regions. I don't believe stirring up anti-Perrin sentiments in our clan would end well.
Gorza chimes in and says, I don't know, Warlord. The people around here do have an affinity towards Vroga, and many people around here certainly don't like what it is that Paradel does. Having some representatives, or at least showing a surefire mark against what it is that Paradel does, might even inspire others to want to cross the border to join our clan. It could inspire others to join because of similar sentiments, or knowing that this is a mark of freedom for those that wish to come from afar. I think perhaps it's something that you need to not overlook so quickly.
I wish to build my own order, as we know. That speaks of similar answer, but instead of the violence that comes from the broken chain, of a peaceful future.
Aaliyah, actually, who is quietly contemplating this for a while, actually chimes in and says, I'm sure you know the old proverb, Warlord. Kind of like contemplating as they're chiming in, like really thinking about it before they say something. Says, I'm sure you know the old proverb, Warlord. Keep your friends close. And when she doesn't answer, you actually have Ticton goes, yeah? And then she looks at him and says,
enemies
your
closer.
Enemies closer.
Tesla finishes it.
Okay, there you go.
Hmm.
Rima says, or don't.
I don't believe it to be necessary. I also don't think they would take kindly to my beliefs or the beliefs I'm trying to build. Though, I guess it would be still best to speak with the representative. We do not want to show... we don't want to cast them off without speaking. We don't want to disrespect them.
You make a perception check.
Oh, I clicked like twice. I did.
You take the first one, of course, and I hate you for wasting that natty one.
Oh my god, I did click
so
it
much.
twice.
Like, who the hell has the luck to accidentally click twice and gain a free pass of a natty one?
That's fantastic.
I hate you so much. Like, if that was Nick, that would have been a 20 right there. That would have been a waste of a 20.
That's so good.
Anyways, so yeah, when they say when you say I don't or any disrespect, you actually hear who is it? Sorry, Aaliyah say under her breath, quietly, any more disrespect?
He looks at her. I think Tessa understands. I think I understand what she's getting at. He's not gonna say anything.
You look at her and she's just kind of like, and looks over at Rima, tosses like a head nod and eyes over to Rima.
She looks at Rima and now she's even more confused. So, Rima's the one that said they were a cultist, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm missing some information here. How was our guest treated when she first arrived, Rima?
Letty's going to chime in at this point because he was the first one to say something originally and says, Oh, they're a guest. I don't think they're aware of that.
Do I want to know the grievances they will have with me when I speak to them?
Shido Naito says, while I wasn't there for most of the encounter, I can say that while they were offended, no more offended than any other member of the Broken Chain always is.
He nods.
They're a rather grieved bunch.
Rima, all I ask in the future is you don't have to show kindness to those of the Broken Chain or whoever you have grievances with, but at least don't cause more problems for the clan.
She looks at you and says, "You are trying to build something here. We've discussed this before. We understand one another. This is a cult."
I know. Trust me, that's why I don't wish to put them any of their influence within my borders. But we have to accept that this cult is powerful, far-reaching, and dangerous to make an enemy of.
And if I heard correctly, already has their hands wrapped tightly around your friends to the west.
That is information I've just learned, but so be it. Varix makes his own choice. I do not control him.
But if the same representative is going along and building monasteries in every single clan that they go walking through, this isn't some happenstance. This is a cult looking to stretch its boundaries. I am not going to apologize for any transgressions that may have been
You don't
made
have to
against them.
apologize.
Good.
I don't ask that of you. I ask
Good.
that in the future you refrain from speaking to them before any of the other advisors I have. Is that all right with you?
I'm glad we agree.
Wonderful. And just so we're clear, we will not be accepting their aid. We stand firm in our beliefs of the Order of Tanzo and of a new life and a new future for our people.
Your brother chimes in and says, "I'll make sure that I'm available to be present at the meeting." Tark says as well, "Me too."
I don't believe there's any other any other things that need to be discussed unless any of you have to bring other information to my attention.
Lenny says, well, there was one more matter of, Gorza says, "Did you bring back the artifacts?"
The herbs.
And more.
Yeah, well, I thought we just had the herbs.
Well, it's the various things that were from over there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, and then he takes off his backpack, puts it on like the counter table, opens it up, and then like 90% of what's in the backpack is just herbs.
Mm-hmm.
He puts them on the table. I talked
pipe,
to.
you know?
We'd be really good at that. Okay, we got a lot of heat here. In a sense, befriended. I wouldn't say, but I had some positive interactions with fairies or pixies or the like. They went on a scavenger hunt and gathered plenty of herbs. All that was on the list that one of Ganarin's advisors crafted for us, with pictures and the like. I believe this is all of what that was requested, even more maybe.
Who is it? Gorza would say, I believe it's pronounced Narin, picking something up out of the pile.
He hasn't corrected me yet, so I must wait till he does.
Lenny, grabs something else out of the pile, says, I think she just did.
Never change, you lots. You're lovely to have around.
And they grab stuff out of the pile and start kind of like pouring over the stuff. After they kind of like attention goes to that, Jorman will then finally chime in once everybody else has quieted down a bit and say, we sit, but there is much to do.
I was going to rest because I've been on many days of marching, but I believe I have looks towards Rima, a cultist to deal with.
Find solace in your faith. You'll find rest there. She says.
Those who wish to stay to witness the meeting may stay. If you have jobs to do, looks towards Lenny and Jorman. I believe we must act quickly.
Nods. Your brother says there are many other things to discuss as well, but perhaps you should get an evening's rest before we go over the other details.
First summon our guest. I don't believe I could rest with a easy or a slightly eased conscience while we have offended one.
Lenny says, if you could hold them off for just a little while, I have this amazing thing that comes from far to the west. I actually had it delivered here by a family friend of mine. A bit of a care package, if you'd like to try it first.
Sure ahead. Go ahead. Show me, or bring it.
While you get yourself kind of cleaned up or whatever for this meeting, and go and bring yourself to wherever your meeting areas are in your home, Letty eventually comes to you with a steaming cup of something. And you can see there's a little bit of a metal thing sitting inside the cup, and there's a funny colored liquid inside. You smell it, and it has a strange aroma to it, one you're not familiar with. And you take a sip, and it tastes like absolute dog shit. And,
okay, listen, tea's fantastic. Excuse you.
This is tea.
Tessel drinks it, and he's like, "This is wonderful, Lenny. It soothes the throat."
No. DM said it tastes like.
No, I don't know. I override.
DM says.
Oh, no, I disagree.
It is. Hey,
nope. Incorrect.
DM's world.
Well, listen, it's my clan and my character. I get to decide.
No, it tastes like dog shit.
So, Lenny, what is this?
World.
Let's sell decide his own taste buds. All right, Scott, you gotta give him that.
No. It tastes like dog
First
shit.
of all, I can't in real life. I can't drink coffee. It does not sit well in my stomach. So I love tea because of that.
Sounds like you need a man up, buddy. Get that coffee.
It's like you and ice cream, Scott. Okay, so it's not fantastic.
So good.
What is this, Lenny?
You said it was fantastic, right?
Yes, it was fantastic.
Coffee.
Excuse you. Can we grow these herbs here?
They're actually beans. And funny enough, kind of, but not that well. They grow really good in hot climates, tropical climates, because they're beans, since they taste so good.
Sorry, last time I checked, they're tea leaves, and they go fantastic in mountains.
Yeah, funny enough, since you enjoy it so much, is beans, and they grow in tropical climates with lots of sunshine.
But last time I checked, tea grows in many areas of the world, practically everywhere, in fact.
We'll make it a poll for chat, because it's important.
Let's do it. Let's do it, chat. Let's grow tea in Kajinxi. Make a tea culture here, boys. Sorry. We went really off there.
There you go. Poll started. Did I spell neither wrong?
I think you spelled it right.
I
can't
for
spell
E
though.
except after C, except there's so many exceptions to that exception.
I'm not holding left click spam right now. Better get an auto clicker on.
Wow, there are so many. I'm curious who that is. I bet it's Viking Magoo, that goddamn mother fluffer.
I don't know, man.
I'm putting my money on it being Viking Magoo who's hammering that button.
Yeah, that's who's hammering the button.
Mm-hmm.
Smiley face.
It's definitely Viking Magoo. We'll know momentarily.
Well, yeah, we can wait on this.
You think it's Anno? It makes sense that Anna would drink tea. Definitely makes sense Anna would drink tea. Nick's like, am I going to get to play here? You do realize that null and void's the...
It does not.
Now it's null and void.
No, that's not true. We've always been allowed to participate
it's
in the polls.
32 votes.
Yeah, I don't see a problem with that. It would have won anyway then.
That's 32 votes.
I don't see a problem here. Are you saying the election was rigged?
Yes, yes, I am. I demand a recount. I'm gonna repost it and let's see.
No, so it's T, guys. We all agree now. As a outstanding majority voted for it.
Listen, I saw you handing out water at the polling station. You were
Oh, that's so bad. Stop! Don't get me heated.
Station.
Don't get me heated.
Okay?
Stop! I cannot right now.
Listen,
that's so bad.
There were way too many mail-in ballots. How many people were not actually in the polling area? I bet they were illegals voting. People from like Australia and like.
So, Lenny,
Norway.
could you get some of the live plants so we may grow some?
Unfortunately, no. It would be difficult for me to get them transported here, though they would grow fantastically at the mountainside with the right weather.
Tell me the cost some other time, and we can speak to those who can transport across great distances.
We would have to hire a druid, or at least somebody who's really good with plants, maybe with a green thumb. Oh, do you think maybe if we talk to what the hell's his name? Do you think maybe if we talk to Ganarin, we could get him to get one of the Hafue to help us out?
I'll speak to him. We'll see what we can arrange. I do desire to grow the plant here. Could you prepare another cup for our guest? If you have some to spare, I don't want to use your supply if it's of short usage.
Of course, Warlord.
No, Lenny, do not. It's fine. You don't have to appease me. You know this.
Deeply offended. Might as well appease
No,
them.
Lenny. No, it's fine. Don't.
Goes off and gets it because Lenny's actually like kind of kind-hearted. So, all right, cool.
And I called the guest in. I assume my brother's there, and then Tark is there because they said they wanted to be there.
Yep. No, just to keep an eye on things. Tark's not much of a warrior. They're an engineer, but they're,
I'm not worried about it.
Yeah. Either way, it's just kind of like having extras around. So your brother's there. The person comes walking in. They come storming into the room when the door is open for them, however the room is. I'll allow you to describe this room again, because all of us forget.
Yeah, so since, Kajinxi's really Japanesey, it's like a yeah, it is. Listen, okay.
Japanesey?
Japanese, like...
difficulty.
Okay, anyway, it's like it's just like a nice room that's like, I would say like out in a balcony, so it's like out, there's like nice scenery around, and there's a table where you just kneel at, and with like pillows.
Okay. Would come over and stand.
Seat if you would like. We have I have brought a beverage called tea. It soothes the throat, calms the mind.
I brought a gift called coin.
He just stares at her, waiting.
Have you not been informed?
I've been informed.
Then when can we begin this construction of the monastery?
I'd first wish to know of the stipulations of the coin. What comes with it?
We're going to share the cost in building a monastery to Vroga, of course, and
to Vroga, or to the Broken Chain.
Broken Chain oversees this monastery. All worship is to Vroga.
Then I will regretfully inform you, we will not be participating. I do wish you a good day.
Furrows her brow and says, "Do you not worship Vroga?"
Of course we worship Vroga in my lands. Anything else? Or is that all?
Where will the construction begin?
It will not begin.
And why not?
I prefer to oversee all buildings in my lands under my rule. Under what I believe to be right.
So your people aren't allowed to have the worship that they want?
No, I don't like outside forces influencing my people. Like those of the Broken Chain.
It sounds like you are holding your people down.
That is your way of thought. I see that I'm bringing my people to a new future.
All change will be shattered.
Of
One
course.
way or another.
And I do not believe in chains. Do you see chains in my lands? Do you see me chaining my people? Of course not. I seek a different type of freedom.
Not all chains are so easily perceived.
Of course. Don't be coy or sly with your words.
So by the mountains, so we may look upon Vroga's glory.
No. There will be no monastery in my lands that is overseen by the broken chain.
You have a problem with the broken chain specifically.
I don't agree with all of the practices of the people, that is all. And just as you would expect, a warlord should do what they believe to be right for their people.
What are you hiding?
I am hiding nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I have just a different way of thought.
All secrets are eventually released.
And what do you believe my secret is? Do you believe I worship Lady Aravel and wish to chain the people of Kajinxi?
It's funny you should go immediately there.
Because what else would someone of the broken chain think of if they believe someone hiding a secret? And what would they be offended by? It is easy to think that's the first thought that you would go to, is it not?
It wasn't. There are many secrets that could be hidden, but you so quickly go to it while building your kingdom, while building your clan along the border of Paradel. It does certainly raise questions.
Know that I and my people worship Vroga, Krillin, and Snaga the Abusive as our main worship due to our close kinship to the forges and mines of fire.
Speaking of those forges and mines, I see that your people work quite hard in them. Some would say they work just as hard as they do in Paradel.
And who would say that? Who have you talked to that has given you that information? Have you visited the mines, talked to the people there, or are you doing conjecture from words that you hear whispering into your ear from others? Maybe from those to the southeast that have already shown disdain towards my people.
Now you're trying to use large words and trying to spin things over my head to confuse me.
I will change my words. Sorry. I will change my words. You're speaking of rumors that have no base in reality. Where do you get the rumors from? I may be able to dissuade their existence if I know for who is giving you them. Have you visited our mines?
I have seen the way that they work in the mines. Quite
and have you known that they all get vacation? They get days off of work so we can repair it and keep the mine safe. They do not work all 7 days of the week.
When was the last time you visited the Barren lands?
I visited near, but I don't believe I've ever visited. I have no need to. Why would I visit the Barren lands? My kingdom, my clan is not there, and my people are not there. Not now.
So you don't understand what freedom is. You think by taking freedoms, you are giving people freedom.
So in Kajixi, we all do not live free because we are guided by rules that we must live by. You must give some freedom to gain a safer freedom, a better one. We must all not kill each other, for we would not be free if we had to fear for our lives from our neighbor. But is that not restricting your freedoms?
This secret, it will be discovered. It will be unchanged.
There's no secrets. If you ask anyone on the streets, they will tell you of my faith.
I'll be seeing you around.
No. You're not welcome back.
She straightens her back and says, I understand. And then if it's
you may stay as long as you need and eat as much as you want. But once you leave, do not return.
Nods. I appreciate your hospitality. I shall decline what it is that you offer. And
do you require food for the road?
Stead.
Fine. Do ask them to send someone a bit more Cordial.
Cordial. She says.
He smirks
She
a bit.
turns and walks out.
Fuck them. I nearly lost my temper.
Your brother says, if they were a more organized group, I'd be afraid that we would have a small battle on our hands. Fortunately for us, they aren't a very organized group. It does make
I
you
should have
wonder
acted better.
he shakes his head. Says, if you restrained yourself too much, you would have found guilt in that too.
You know me too well, brother.
She smashed the dope button.
Tarka, do make sure she doesn't start preaching to those of my lands while within the city.
He looks at you and says, I'll get Gorza on it.
Rima would be best.
Your brother says, if I may, then we probably will have a battle on our hands.
Fine, Gorza. Go on.
and he goes
He
off.
drinks the other cup of tea that's on the table.
So he he'll walk out of the room. When you kind of like sit there, it's back to just you and your brother. Your brother will actually chime in and say, well, since it's not going to be a very restful evening, I suppose it should be now that I take the opportunity to inform you.
Better now than have me think of it while I try to sleep.
Peridot soldiers are approaching to the south.
They've gone past the hill line.
No. They've stayed on the hill. But if rumors are true, their numbers are growing. A decision will have to be made. Do we plan to defend or plan
We parlay
to send
first.
away?
We must parlay first. That is our way. We talk before drawing our weapons.
You know that is by far my preferred way of handling things. When we're dealing with Peridot, the laws of Kajinksi don't apply. It's important to note that when dealing with Peridot, due to the skill their soldiers have, the vast numbers they have, the resources they have, allowing them to choose the field of battle while we are trying diplomacy could put us at a significant disadvantage. If we are going to go about the diplomatic route, and again to be clear, I do favor this route, perhaps you should inform your allies. Having other options might not be a bad thing. We do have control of a hill to the southwest of our home. If we meet with them to the south, but to have allies prepared on the hill, hidden within the mines there, perhaps they could come to our aid rather quickly, without things getting too devastating should things turn to the south.
How much time do we believe we have before they may act? Because our allies would take a great number of days to first get down here. And Varix himself, he has a amassing horde from the Barren lands to his south.
Does seem like things are happening rather quickly, doesn't it?
That is why earlier I said maybe when I get a break between crisis and crisis.
Unfortunately, this is leadership.
I think we must act sooner rather than later. Before they are fully prepared, we send messengers to the kingdoms, to our allies to the west, and we prepare Aaliyah to, and myself. We will go and parlay with them, while you start amassing our army.
He says, Warlord, I say this to you as your advisor, and not as your brother. I think that to be a foolish decision. Sending Aaliyah is wise. She knows their customs. She knows the way they speak, and she is very capable. But you bringing yourself there would open you up for a quick and easy capture. Should they ransom you, which, depending on who it is that we're dealing with, that could either cripple all of our assets or our army in an attempt to get you back. And that's in the best case scenario.
You are correct. Then we send Aaliyah and a score of our best men to protect her.
Perhaps one of the other advisors could go with her as well, though I would be warn against sticking our necks so far across the enemy line.
I don't believe there'd be anyone to send that wouldn't potentially provoke the Barren. I would maybe send Atelia, but she's already on her mission.
She has her important tasks. If you could send word to the west, and at the very least, if we could have some riders to approach them from behind, cavalry can be an advantage on a field of battle. So I'm told. So I've read. I've never actually seen it done before. We saw how it was that our allies came to aid us, but there was such a small number. If they were to bring more.
I will send a request to our allies, Naren and Varix, if they could spare a number of men and ready for a defensive engagement against the Barren if they do decide to attack.
If we can also send word, Warlord, to Varix, informing him that the watchtower we have near to there, we could relocate our soldiers as soon as our matter is handled to that watchtower, and similarly lend aid into the Barren lands. Our soldiers aren't as trained for the Barren lands as his, but with him leading, I'm sure we should do fine in resolving his situation.
He nods. I'll leave the message writing to you. I'm quite tired. It's been a long few weeks.
Very well done. I think we all look a bit tired. Perhaps now would be a good opportunity to take a few-minute break.
As Cecil gets up, I must sleep. There's not much time to rest within the next few days, I believe.
Perhaps I confused you with my out-of-game chatter with my in-game voice, but I meant in real life, so we'll be back in just a couple of minutes.